giant, clean, modern electric plant. There's 3 plants at the Fayetteville facility. We own one of them, and they're going to take it and sell it for almost nothing.
And that is Alex Jones. As you heard, he'll be back later in the show. We'll be back on the other side of this break, too. I have my own documents about the carbon plan in Austin, more than double what the feds want.
The worst drought in 50 years continues, and the first...
We're back at Infowars.com. Alex Jones is coming up later in the broadcast. We've got some exclusive clips coming up for you, but we do have 7 dead in Wisconsin at a Sikh temple, another act of terrorism brought home to the U.S. At least that's how they're going to brand it, as they hype up non-existent threats one after the other. Now, here in the wake of the Colorado shooting, they're now saying the military and police will have to merge to deal with non-existent IED threats. We've also got in the news Rumsfeld saying Israel doesn't need to notify the U.S. about a strike. You've got Russian warships coming to Syria, and Al-Qaeda openly working with the West, the Muslim Brotherhood setting up their own joint operations, and the State Department talking about how accidental it is that Al-Qaeda just waltzed into Syria, but how, they're kind of good, not good maybe, but somebody we have to respect and help bring them up. But I want to get into detail. Now, Paul Watson wrote this article on Friday. He's updated it. It's back at Infowars.com, so go read the whole story for yourself. But it's domestic IED threat hyped as justification for martial law takeover, and how the Batman shooting highlights a reason to increase the military role in domestic law enforcement. Let me read you Alex's comments, and we're going to get into how ridiculous and over the top this article in the Houston Chronicle is. Now, Alex says, despite the fact that cases involving the use of improvised explosive devices within the United States are virtually non-existent, the government is hyping the mythical threat so that they can butcher Posse Comitatus and turn up the volume for martial law. That's it. They want to destroy Posse Comitatus. They want to occupy America. They don't want Americans to be Americans. They want them to be helpless, subservient people who fear not having total federal control, who can't even go to the grocery store or the mall without basically peeing in their pants unless there's some kind of TSA or police state apparatus waiting to so-called keep them safe. You know what the founders said about that. Benjamin Franklin famously said, those who trade security for liberty will get neither. Now, it's always been the plan to push IEDs, Alex points out, as a reason to have the military oversee law enforcement. He demonstrated this in Police State 2, the takeover, as far back as 2000. And you saw that footage with Alex approaching checkpoints on Texas highways. Now, here is the Houston Chronicle, which Paul Watson covers in his article. And the headline is, Texas and the U.S. face growing threat of domestic IEDs. Improvised explosives, they note, are well known in Iraq, Afghanistan, etc. They've killed American soldiers. But now they say that threat is coming to Texas and the United States. What do they cite? They cite the Batman massacre, the so-called explosives he had in his apartment, if that's even true, if we find out the truth about that. Then they cite all these other fraudulent attempts. And I've got Rob Dew here to break down how FBI informants were behind the New York City Times Square, the little fizzle firecracker bomb, the so-called ink cartridges that allegedly had explosives that they found, all this made-up garbage, and the Mexican drug cartels, which is a very violent faction, is a real problem, except that it's totally propped up by the CIA. It's totally part of the CIA's drug smuggling operation. Wachovia, Wells Fargo, everyone else from the big 6 banks on Wall Street are admittedly laundering billions and billions, if not trillions, in drug money. They know where it comes from. It's a huge slice of Mexico. But now in America, we have the Joint Improvised Explosive Device Defeat Organization. Tell me that's not Orwellian. The IED Defeat Organization. And they quote an Army Lieutenant General Michael Barbaro. The domestic IED threat from both homegrown terrorist and global threat networks is real and presents a significant security challenge for the United States and our international partners. And they go on to how unfortunate they say it is. They're, quote, complaining about Posse Comitatus separating military, that they can't be used for domestic law enforcement operations. It's a pretty common sense law.
Right. And what they have here is they say the Pentagon spends $1.9 billion a year in this IED organization, and it saved tons of servicemen's lives. So why can't we implement it here? Why can't we have the military working with the police here? That just seems normal, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They're just trying to paint it as being a normal thing. That's something that has to happen. And this is in order to get the police working together with the military. And when that happens, the rights are out the window, the guns are being confiscated, and people are getting rounded up. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, because any kind of self-defense weapon will basically now be called an IED, because you could improvise. Basically, if you're free to make your own decisions, and that you might, 1 out of 1 million people might choose to do something violent, you can't have your rights anymore. They've got to have checkpoints on the highway. Why? Because one time in 2010 in Juarez, which is right on the El Paso border, they had a car bomb from the drug cartels. That's their big incident they cite in this article. But now, isn't it unfortunate we're not allowed to merge military and police? We need to do more training. And they've got this guy, McCall, who's a representative based here in Austin. He's behind the threat fusion centers that work with Homeland Security. This is part of the Homeland Security occupation. Is it not, Rob Dew?
Well, and he's got his big fear-mongering statement here. The military is unable to coordinate with the state and local law enforcement, leaving a gaping hole in our security.
It's crazy, he says.
Yeah, this is crazy that the guy who is an expert in IED overseas can't coordinate with the Texas Rangers. That's another quote from him. And it's just basically to sell the idea that we have to have the military working with the police.
All right, Alex is online. He's going to jump in with a comment as well.
Go ahead, Alex.
Wild horses can't drag me away today with you guys in there filling in. Listen, they've already had the military since 1988 confirmed. I've seen secret documents. I put it in my film Rotarian. I interviewed a Marine Corps colonel. Since the late 80s, they've had military in plainclothes style police raid jackets raiding homes of what they call high-risk warrant service, and they kill Americans all the time. Okay? I mean, they killed a guy up in Georgia using the military just a few months ago because he wouldn't get rid of his chickens. And he was a veteran, and he said, I'm not going to do it. So they came and killed him. They used the military at Waco. I just want to explain to everybody something here, okay? I want everybody to understand something. I told you 15 years ago the National Security Agency spied on everybody with keyword software under Echelon, with hubs at all the telecommunications companies. All that's out in the public. Whistleblowers have gone public, and they're trying to arrest the whistleblowers for reporting on felonies. It's a crime. They've always planned to put the TSA on the streets. I told people that 10 years ago. It's now happening nationwide. So this is just the cover story for troops on the streets. Imagine IEDs. How ridiculous. But again, in the actual manuals, you can open the phones up just for police. They'll call and tell you they've read them, but we've published them, republished them. These are highly restricted. Don't be saying the villains are the enemy, folks. It isn't Al-Qaeda. I know you guys are going to do a big special report on that, and then later I'll call it on the power plant shutdown. This is a criminal globalist takeover. And to get everybody ready for it, they've been training the police for IEDs for 20 years. That's just the cover story that they always use. The documents I got at a highway checkpoint that's in my film Police State to the Takeover, that's linked to the article Paul Watson wrote, that's up at Infowars.com, has shows Army checkpoint on I-35, and the FBI pulls up and gives us documents that they thought were a press release that were really secret that explained call the military for warrant service for U.S. citizens. God bless you, man.
All right, we're coming up on the break. More Alex Jones on the other side. Aaron Dykes, Rob Dew in studio. We're going to cover the whole gamut of occupied America and this craziness.
This is Alex Jones with 5 good reasons you should consider.
You are tuned in. This transmission is the InfoWar, and we will wage eternal InfoWar against the attempt to occupy our minds, our bodies, our soul, and that's what it is. Alex is coming up at the bottom of the next hour. He's dropped off for the moment so he can collect his thoughts and, frankly, calm down a little bit, but he's going to break down the whole shutting down of power. Coal, love it or hate it, supplies a huge portion of our power in this country. They would rather have us under siege, shut that off, and get us to learn to do with less. It's part of the overall austerity program. It's exactly the kind of thing they had in 1984, where they wanted you mentally, morally, physically too weak to oppose the government, so you could only turn to Big Brother to be your savior. But now, of course, we have Big Sis, too. And isn't she sweet? For years and years, through the whole Obama administration, they have done this psyop on the people, and it has nothing to do with Obama. This is the continuity of agenda. They've taken the Bush war on terror, flipped it, turned it on its head, and learned to teach us to hate ourselves and to love Al-Qaeda. It is 100% 1984 plan, a gradual ramping up of just turning sense on its head. Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, that's a brilliant description, what you just said there, because it really does encapsulate what it is. They've taken this hype of terrorism, and ingrained it in us since 9/11, that it's going to happen. You know, we got to go out and imperialize the rest of the world. And now now we got these veterans.
Now it's white Al-Qaeda. It's lone wolf.
It could be anybody that doesn't like the government, doesn't like this plan of going on out and killing everybody.
No, you got to understand, Rob, dude, because for 3 years, 4 years now, Big Sis, the other counterparts from Homeland Security have been saying, we don't have any specific information, but we're absolutely sure it's going to be a returning vet. We're absolutely sure it's going to be a random lone wolf like in the Colorado shooting. We're not behind this. We're not planning it. We don't know what's going to happen, but we're sure it's not going to be Al-Qaeda. It's going to be white Al-Qaeda.
Right. That's how it always is. And here we have this, there's an update from USA Today on the shooting at the Sikh temple. 3:30 p.m. The shooter was a white male in his 30s. Vin Bobari, one of the temple's committee members, tells the Journal Sentinel, it's pretty much a hate crime, he tells the news organization. It's not an insider. So because he wasn't somebody who went to the temple, it's automatically a hate crime. We don't know anything about this guy yet. We don't know anything about his past. We don't know anything. And yet it's already come out. They're going to run with this hate crime thing. You know they're going to run with this. This is going to be all over the news. Hate crime, hate crime, hate crime. And then it's about, well, now we got to go after the guns because now we're getting more shootings, more mass shootings are happening. And, you know, who stopped the shooting? One guy with a gun. One guy with a gun stopped the whole thing. You didn't need an army of mechanized SWAT dressed up like Darth Vader going in there and surrounding the place while people get shot on the inside. You had one courageous guy. That's what happened when we had the shooter in Austin back in the 60s. The guy who was shooting people, picking them off from the tower. 2 people went up there and took care of them.
Look, we're on KLBJ here in Austin. We're on stations across the country. I know new listeners are tuning in all the time, and they are scratching their heads. Why is Al-Qaeda now our friend, and somehow the homeland's the enemy? You've got to understand this is part of an incremental plan to turn it all against us. They didn't hype up a week ago when there was robbers in a casino, and some 71-year-old concealed carry arm guy shot at the robbers, and they ran away in terror. That wasn't on the national news. That wasn't an issue. Only the Batman shooting in a gun-free, gun control zone where all the victims were helpless.
In fact, that's one thing we do on the InfoWars Nightly News is when these things happen, we do go out and look for those positive gun stories to show that there is a big difference. Just because there's one mass shooting that they hype up over and over again, that doesn't mean they happen all the time. And then everywhere you look, you can find plenty of local news stories of young kids with guns defending their homes. There was one case, a lady on New Year's Eve shot an intruder. Her husband had just died 2 weeks ago, and she had a shotgun, protected her and her baby. A guy climbing through the window, and she shot him. She actually called and asked for permission to shoot him, which she didn't have to have. She could have just shot him there, you know, without having that permission. But it's all, you can actually hear it, the 911 call. And that's the kind of stuff that we need to hear more of those positive gun stories, because the criminals know, especially, and it's a disarmed area like Chicago where they're running rampant right now. They know in those areas they can go and pick off people. And in areas,
Chicago's now the deadliest city in the whole country, in the whole world.
It's a total disgrace.
It's a murder capital.
There you go. And why? Because they have strict gun laws, and it happens everywhere you look. And we used to run an ad about Kennesaw, Georgia. They actually they passed an ordinance that everybody has a gun and their crime rate drops. You know, they want everybody to be armed, and because they know people aren't going to break in.
They've sabotaged the economy on purpose, and they're getting us ready to be occupied by the military, by riot forces, when nobody gets their checks, when everybody on food stamps is not able to eat, when you've got hordes of people looking to survive at any cost who are totally desperate, while brainwashing us into believing there's these lone wolf terrorists